everyone, welcome back to the restaurant show. We're going to do something a little different today. I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful tomato and melon salad. And you know, it's just that time of year when everything is easy to get. Even at your local farmer's market, there's plenty of melon and tomatoes and just a really, really great variety. And the first thing I want to show you though is when you are picking out a watermelon. Now, my kids will attest that every time I go and pick out a watermelon, I always knock on it. It sounds like you're knocking on someone's door. And basically what that's doing is you want it to sound like it's hollow. You don't want it to sound like it's full inside. You don't want it to sound dense. So that's one way. That's just, might be an old wives' tale, but I definitely go by that. And then another way to tell is also by the field spot. That's this right here. That means this is what side it was resting in the field as it was getting ripened. The deeper yellow that you have here, the better it is, the more ripe it's gonna be. And then also, if it doesn't have one, that probably means that it got picked just a little bit too early and it may never fully ripen. So definitely look for that field spot, that's what that is. And then also, on the outside, a nice dark green is what you're looking for also. And you want it to be a little bit matted. If it's really shiny and waxy, that might not be ripe enough again. Now you can leave it on the counter for a few days at room temperature, maybe a day or two, and that might help ripen the process, but it won't fully ripen. So you want to get it as ripe as possible when you first purchase it. And it will actually stay in the refrigerator for up about to a week if you don't cut into it. So make sure you keep those tips in mind. Now, as we're making this watermelon and tomato salad, what we're going to do is we're going to cut off one end. Try to use a serrated knife so it'll grab onto that waxy outside. And serrated means it has those little scalloped edges there. And we're going to cut off both ends just so it's easier to handle and safer. This one's a big one right here. And we're gonna flip it over like this, and then we're gonna cut right down the middle again. And as you can see, the bigger the knife you have, the better, but just make sure you keep good control of it. We're gonna go down one more time, and there you go. Oh my gosh, look at that, that is gorgeous. And the easy way to do it now, you know, if you wanna just do some slices for the kids, or especially while you're cooking, kids always like to munch on these while you're cooking up and getting the grill ready maybe. So we can set that aside, and the easy way to do that is then just go ahead and get some slices this way, and easy and ready to go and serve. So I'm gonna put those to the side though. What we're gonna do for this is for a watermelon salad, we're gonna cut it in half one more time. Get that going. This is really juicy. I love all of there's a lot of water in it, but that's really good, especially with how hot it is, and just being able to hydrate and being able to keep up with that sun out there, especially if you're doing something like a nice pool party, which this would be great to have, or maybe a patio party or a little picnic. We're gonna go ahead and cut this in half again. And we want it to be in bite-sized pieces, so that way, that was saying it was lunchtime already, but, and we're just gonna go ahead, put these pieces very nicely, and we're gonna put that into our bowl right here. All right, let me grab that. It's so juicy, there's so much water in this, I love it. And it really keeps you refreshed. Okay, I'm gonna make a little bit of a smaller salad, but obviously I would go ahead and cut all of that. Now just to give us a little bit of color variation, we also have some melon here. And again, I've already seeded this. Now this actually had seeds, which I scooped out really easy, and this is a seedless watermelon that we had here. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that. And this, I'm just gonna go ahead and do little slices and then come across. This just gives us a little variation and another little different type of melon to add in. All right. And then we're gonna have our great tomatoes, which this time of year, tomatoes are so easy to get. In fact, you probably have a bunch of them already growing in your own garden, because as you know, this is something that is very easy to grow and very plentiful, especially in this type of weather that we have down here in the South. We're gonna go ahead and just put a few slices in there. And again, we're just gonna make a little salad here. All right. And so now we've got a little bit of color. If you can find some cantaloupe or honeydew, that's also another great item to put in here. Or maybe some heirloom tomatoes that gives you a little bit of that yellow and orange in there also. All right, now just for this, just to make it a little bit different, I'm gonna use some fresh basil. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just pick off the leaves here. Put that right there. And we're gonna roll it. And we're just gonna give it a nice little chop. And it doesn't have to be a perfect chop, because you just are really getting that nice flavor in there and a little bit of freshness. We're gonna put some crumbled blue cheese. or maybe feta if you like. That's also a great variation to this. And we're gonna do some toasted almonds to give that nice little crunch to it. So we're gonna go and put that. Now, at this point, I'm also gonna of course, you have to get that little bit of salt in there and pepper if you'd like, and we're gonna go ahead and give this a nice mix. Now, if you like, you can always add a little bit of vinaigrette, maybe a little olive oil or a little red wine vinegar. Just depends on if you want it, just depends if that's that flavor profile that you like. But this is nice and simple, and it won't hold you back if you don't have those ingredients. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna spoon that right onto this beautiful arugula. You can use like a watercress if you'd like, but this arugula is great because it'll offer a nice balance of a peppery green in the background for it. Or for those of you who love to use kale, because kale is that in thing, you definitely can use that also. So I'm gonna go and put that on there and get a few more pieces of that white melon. All right, I'm gonna do a few more pieces of basil here, right in the middle. Give it that nice fragrance, and then we're gonna finish it off with some of those toasted almonds. And perfect. What a great salad, nice and refreshing summer salad to have during this heat wave that we're having in the month of July and August and partly into September. Just make sure to keep in mind when we're picking out those watermelons, make sure that you have that nice field spot in the bottom and it's truly ripe. So you guys stay tuned for more, and we'll be back in just a moment.